YouTube Ozick going the Goat House is back with my Bengals 2021 NFL offseason rebuild. Definitely an interesting team. They got a lot of cap space to work with, and they have some good draft picks as well. So that's fantastic news there. I think this could be a sneaky good team as long as they're healthy next year if they do the offseason right. So I'm going to give you my take on that. They can do multiple different things with this cap space. We'll see. But did this for pretty much every team. We're going to finish up, and by the end, we'll have done every single team. Plenty of NFL offseason content, covering free agency, the NFL draft. We grade every single free agency signing. We have you covered fully on Twitter, instant reactions to breaking news, things like that. So check out the Twitter, subscribe, and then check underneath me, see walkthemock.com. And if you plan on signing up for that, use our code GOATHOUSE. It's one of a kind. There's no other draft simulator like that. It's the coolest thing. Check it out. And we do our member mocks on there as well. We have one of those up on the channel. Here's our Twitter. Some recent news about Kyle Van Noy possibly getting released. That was a shocker to me. So we talked about that. We're going to talk more about that, potential landing spots. We'll see if he actually gets cut, cap space situations. We're going to talk about all that here in a second. And then on the Twitter. And then here's a little offseason guide here with potential cuts, potential savings, live cap space projections, things like that. So I'll pin a link in the comments for all that. Bengals, tough decision with Geno Atkins. Geno Atkins was a phenomenal defensive tackle, maybe an elite one at one point. They didn't play him a whole bunch last year, and they're kind of, it feels like the whole team's just, they're that younger, going that younger route there. So saving $9.5 million, I wouldn't be against keeping him, but they're going to have to use him more. So I went ahead and cut him to save that money because the Bengals do have, projected $41 million cap space. Pretty good amount of money, but they got some guys they want to bring back. So they want to bring those guys back, and they want to get better in free agency. Like I said, this team has the ability to do some good things, but they got to go out and do that. You don't want to stay the same. You got to get your guys back to stay the same, the guys that you like, but then you want to go get better. So clear some of the space here, then some cuts that, some of these could be obvious to clear a decent amount of space here. So $65 million around that range after the cuts, looking pretty good. Definitely need to get Carl Lawson back. He's got a lot of upside, freakish ability. Seems like he was getting better with his pass rush moves, almost still developing traits. Because when he came in out of college, it was like, what is he? Is he an off-the-ball linebacker? Is he an edge rusher? So that makes sense that he's still developing things. So he's got a lot of upside there. William Jackson, another guy with a lot of upside. He's still getting better because remember that first year he got injured, that was tough. So he's still got some upside, still kind of getting better. He's got all the traits. Mackenzie Alexander seemed like a pretty good slot corner. When he's healthy, I think he is actually one of the better slot corners in all of football, which was kind of a shortage on them. So I think they would like him back. We got to see him play with Trey Waynes. We've seen them play together in Minnesota. It looked pretty good. Pair them with William Jackson. Fantastic secondary, especially with those safeties. Huge Jesse Bates fan. So let's keep this defense together. Let some of these other guys walk, and then we're going to get better here. I have an interesting direction here with this first option. How about targeting an edge rusher, a big-time edge rusher like Yannick Ngakoue, who's currently playing for the Ravens. The pass rush was just non-existent last year. Carl Lawson, you can see he's getting close. Hubbard's solid stopping the run. Maybe a rotation guy, maybe a guy, in obvious running downs. Maybe you can slide him inside a little bit, but he's not getting pressure. So important, pass rush, so damn important, and they need to get more of it. They're towards the bottom of the league. You pair a guy like Ngakoue with Carl Lawson, I think it's a fantastic fit. It just turned into one of the better pass rushers in football going forward. You do need to address the offensive line. I think Cam Robinson still got some upside, so you can grab him. Pretty much grab any offensive lineman you can because there's guys you can move around. There's guys that you shouldn't be afraid of replacing. Jonah Williams can move around. That's kind of the highlight of their offensive line if he's healthy. Then grabbing a guy like Gerald Everett, I think they could use that athletic tight end to boost their offense as well. Then you go into the draft, get a guy like Jamar Chase to replace A.J. Green, one of the better receiver prospects in a long time. So pairing him with Tyler Boyd, with T. Higgins, those two with A.J. Green, the three of them got an insane amount of snaps last year, so they do value playing three tight ends a ton during a season. So that's why Chase in there with those two would make a lot of sense. And then you boost the interior blocking with Wyatt Davis here would be a fantastic pick. And I think they'll like a guy like Milton Williams. It's a sleeper here, maybe third round from Louisiana Tech. This is a freak athlete interior defensive lineman that can get some pressure. So maybe a Geno, I think you want to get more athletic where Geno Atkins is. 'Cause remember, they got DJ Reader coming back. This guy's going to stop the run there in the middle. So maybe more of an athletic guy next to him would make some sense to me. Then we go on to the next option. Yeah, they'll be targeting a guy like Joe Thuney. We'll see if the Patriots try to get him back, but then you kind of help out the interior right off the bat in free agency. This definitely boosts the run game and stops interior pressure a lot more than they have been. Jayon Brown's the name that I would look out for too. I think the Bengals may target. They've been having some struggles finding linebackers. They've been trying to find. They've been trying to upgrade throughout the draft. Maybe some of these guys are going to get better. Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson. Some of these guys could continue to get better, but yeah, plain and simple, they need to be better there. They're trying to look for these athletic guys. I like Jayon Brown from them. I actually think they put in an offer for him in free agency, actually. Familiar face here, Marvin Jones. Bring him back, in this scenario, add him in the mix with Tyler Boyd, of course, and T. Higgins, and that'll be ideal replacement for A.J. Green. He's been an underrated receiver since being on the Bengals. Very productive. Then you go in the draft, say Penei Sewell drops, maybe a fantastic pick. Penei Sewell, Joe Thuney, Jonah Williams, looking pretty good at this point. Grab that edge rusher, Jason Oweh, who could be a second-round pick. Could sneak in the first round. This guy's got another Carl Lawson-type player. Freaky dude, got tons of upside, and they were confident with their coaching and seeing their development of Carl Lawson throughout last year, and they like him going forward, perhaps. So maybe they'd be confident about a guy like this, because this guy might not make a huge impact right away, but he's got crazy upside, freakish dude. And then they can grab that athletic tight end that can be involved in this high-power passing game featuring Joe Burrow and company, and get a guy like Brevin Jordan who's going to be, I think, a really good athletic, receiving tight end. So I really like these fits. Something like this, the Bengals could be a scary team, one of those teams that it's a tough division to do it in, but one of those teams, if they do it right, could go from worst to first or in that area, really, because that offense could be explosive as long as they're healthy. So we'll see what they do. Offensive line's definitely key. Everybody knows that. But making sure that the talent, the playmaking ability around Burrow is, it's good right now, but making sure it's elite, because that passing attack could be elite. And then pass rush. Pass rush was bottom of the NFL last year. Get Carl Lawson some help there. That'll be ideal. Get the secondary back. Get the band back together. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see, because I like their safeties with Jesse Bates and Von Bell. I would love to see William Jackson, Trey Waynes, Mackenzie Alexander together with those safeties. That is sneaky, like in a sneaky way, one of the best secondaries in football. People don't realize that, but they got to do the work to keep that group going. If they let somebody walk, they can replace them, and they can still be that. So they don't need those specific guys back, I suppose. But we'll see what happens here. So it's a team I'm very excited for, but it's a team I also can be pissed about, because if they just don't go out and do it and they hold off, and some of these young teams sometimes hold off, let's save our cap space, but this team has the ability to be good just like that. This isn't the NFL 5-10 years ago. Teams can just go to the top so fast, especially when you have a quarterback like Joe Burrow and have those weapons. Joe Mixon, he's waiting to break out. You got to help him out, So this is a team I can easily just fall in love with, depending on what they do with this offseason. It's a team I can easily be very pissed at, So I can't. It's one of those teams. I just cannot wait to see what they do. Hopefully they don't let me down. I'm not a Bengals fan, but I'm ready to jump on that bandwagon if they do it right. So we'll see what they do. Pretty much done with all these teams here for these rebuilds. So finally, even though we did rip through them pretty fast, but we got a few more to go. Hopefully you enjoy those. Plenty of other NFL offseason content on the channel. A lot more to come. So hopefully you join us for that. Subscribe, smash the like button, follow the Twitter. You're missing out if you're not following the Twitter. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.